Hey everybody, I'm your host Jada.
I'm her co-host Wendy.
And we are the Swicey
Chix.
So how's your day been so far?
So far so good, can't complain. I woke up this morning and watched my church service. Of course they're still streaming live because we have not resumed in-person service.
Yeah, mine either.
Yeah.
Mine either.
So, and after that, of course, it was just preparing to come here. Mm-hmm. That's all I had so far.
That's about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been kind of low-key today, kind of melancholy because I think of the weather. It's been kind of like off again, rain and not sleep, but rain and sun off again in Atlanta, so it hasn't been consistent. And I'm really driven by the weather, like my moods are totally driven by the weather. So when it's kind of gray outside, I'm like, kind of blah. So
right.
That's where my energy is today, so I'm trying to light it up with some candles and a little bit of champagne, a little bit. So like I was looking all week at the controversy with Kirk Franklin and his son, and I was just sitting like thinking about what would I have done in that situation, like from the parent point of view, not the son, because I probably would never really talk to my mother like that or like my stepdad that way. I just can't see like what would they ever say to me or do to me to make me really go like ballistic ham the way that he did, because he was like, it was a lot of F-bombs dropped, it was a lot of niggas, bitch ass, a lot of like street hood slang exchange between father and son. So I'm trying to think, like, as a parent, how do you come back from that with your kid? Like,
so, I didn't hear the conversation. I just heard, I just saw the frenzy, like on Instagram and stuff like that. People were saying Kirk Franklin had cussed his son out.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, as a human, that could happen.
Right.
But the other side that I got was like, it's the way he put it together. And that's where the Christian community is like, wait a minute, they have a problem with that, because they have a problem with him combining yo bitch ass or something like that.
All that.
They just feel like if you say, hell or damn, or they feel like certain words are acceptable, to use in a language, where you're communicating back and forth with somebody. But the moment you put two raw ones together, they like, that's where you done messed up. Yeah. So
it was weird because I was thinking, okay, so the little part of the clip I heard the son, I heard the son attack Kirk Franklin first by calling him like saying fuck you, like I don't give a damn what you say, you ain't shit, like those type of accusatory type words. So as a parent, I can only imagine, like, okay, first of all, I gave birth to you, and this is really how you talking to me, like you talking to me like we're strangers on the street, like we're not even related anymore. So I guess from Kirk's perspective as a father, he probably was like, this young nigga really just tried me. Like, he really is coming at me like I'm just some stranger. So his natural reaction probably was not pastoral and Christian. Like, his natural reaction was a man reaction. Like, this is another dude talking to me. Mind you, the son is like 32, 33 years old. So that's another man talking to him. It's not like, probably not even in his mind, son anymore, because you are grown ass man.
Yeah. And
you're calling me a bitch ass nigga. So now I'm gonna call you that too. So I was reading like a lot of comments. Like you said, a lot of the Christian community was really upset about his response. And it was just so many mixed reviews. There was a lot of parents on there that were saying, listen, sometimes your children are going to surprise you and they're going to act outside of what you ever could imagine, and you got to learn how to deal with it. You either buck right up or you figured it out. Like, it was so many different variations. Then there was children like, I would never let my dad ever apologize enough for me to take him back. Like, it was so many different variations, and I don't know.
Okay.
It was so much.
For me, I'm somebody that has I'm not going to say a bad relationship. It's just strained, I would say, as far as me and my parents are concerned.
Okay.
And I really hate when adults take on the standpoint of like, I gave birth to you and this and that. And it's like, okay, we know that you gave birth to me. There's just no way that I can repay you for giving birth and things like that. That doesn't mean that traumas and things haven't been instilled over the course of my life that make me feel some type of way towards you.
Okay.
So, not to say that means I'm just going to curse my parents out in the way that he cussed out Kirk.
Right.
But I think parents like to speak on that standpoint, oh, well, I birthed you and I did this and I did that and I did this and that for you. but it still doesn't mean I'm not allowed to feel some type of way about things you may have done over the course of my lifestyle that may have shaped my way of thinking or my way of feeling towards you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, regardless of whether you birthed me or not, as an adult, I now still have a right to have an opinion about things you may have done or said, and I feel like I should be able to tell you about some of the things that may make me feel some type of way.
Well, another, I guess, kind of twist or another part of the story was people saying, did the son deliberately record that portion of the conversation to kind of tarnish or ruin his father's career, or is it for what he really said was to expose his father about the abuse that he has been enduring from Kirk all his life? And I mean, none of us know, no one will ever really know what the real answer is,
right.
But I definitely can see whether it was done with malicious intent or not, it's still going to have an effect on your father's career. It's still going to have an effect on his livelihood, which is how you have been living your whole life.
Sure.
So I don't really understand that part. Like, I'm not, as a kid, I probably would never do anything to mess up my mother's job. No, that's what I'm not gonna do. Like, I'm not gonna like embarrass her at work, or, you know, as a kid I was too afraid to do that. Like, you just have enough respect
right.
for your parent not to do that. So I don't know, like, it was so many wavering opinions on that. It was so many people that said when you're abused, sometimes you reach out in the most drastic ways to get help. But I don't know if that's really what he was doing.
You'll never know the truth.
I don't know.
3 sides to every story that be happening.
And you know, Kirk did give it a public apology, apparently, which I probably would not have done.
You think his apology stemmed from, I let myself get out of character, or was it an apology for what I said?
I believe his PR team told him to do it.
Yeah.
To kind of
save face.
Yeah, save face, kind of brush up, clean up the character. Because, like you said, he's part of the Christian world, like gospel Christian music world. They're just as stern and strict as the country music world. Like, you know, you can't have too many skeletons in the closet. They already tried to crucify and cancel him years ago for, you know, the pornography stuff. He redeemed himself, got himself back on track. Here we are again with another smear campaign. So, you know, Kirk just got to lay low. He got to get out of the media.
Yeah. Because
they are really, somebody is after Kirk. So that was one topic I saw in the news that was like trending big time. Then I just thought about something. This is one of the popcorn moments. There was some controversy about Cardi B's performance at the Grammys.
Okay.
Did you see that?
Let's talk about it. I did see it. And I think that the Grammys is more of a show where, you know, you just kind of, I mean, I don't typically see all this twerking, all this ass shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, she had like a pole on the stage and they throwing money and this and that.
did.
It wasn't your typical Grammy performance.
Yeah.
I think some performances are for the Grammys while others are for the BET Awards. And that's okay
Right.
because some artists
It's
are
so
more
awards, right.
cultural
Right.
for the black community. But
Right.
I think,
Yeah.
you know, the Grammys is already one of them shows where people feel like they don't have enough of black presence on the shows like that. But I feel like they might have just ruined it.
You think so?
For I mean, at least for them. But it was the song choice too.
Well, they chose WAP, and then
Thank you.
what did Meg? I forgot what Meg.
Meg performed Body.
I think she did do Body.
And I know she did kind of tone her performance.
She did tone
back.
it way down.
But are those Grammy artists?
Huh?
Yeah.
Are those Grammy artists?
Yeah.
So that means the song that get the Grammys, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's the song that got the Grammy.
It is.
I just think their performance was a little tasteless for the Grammys and the image that they try to
that
portray.
they normally, right. It was.
You can make WAP be more classy.
Can you make WAP
I
more
think the song
classy?
that
Maybe they just shouldn't have allowed her to
I
perform
think
that
the
song.
Grammy
Like, give her the
be
award for
more
the Grammy,
classy.
but we're not going to do the performance.
Be more classy.
I mean,
the song ain't classy. It ain't got a Grammy.
I mean,
Like, come on.
I don't know.
Well, how can you get mad? That don't make sense.
Well, that's why it was so much controversy, because people were like, well, this is the song that won.
Right.
This
the
is
song.
the video and the choreography that's associated with the song.
I don't have no problem with the song winning the Grammy. It's just the performance that was associated with it.
And
it
we
wasn't
know
for the
That's,
Grammy.
that's what I'm just saying though. But how else do you express what that?
I think she could have won her award, and they gave her the award for it, but she did not perform.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay, so not perform it. Okay.
Because everybody that won a Grammy didn't perform their song.
True.
They could have chosen other performers.
Halle Berry can get Monsters Ball without the sex.
Like they could have chosen other performers.
I mean, they really could. I just
Don't take anything away from the fact that she earned a Grammy, but they should have got another performance, because that was not going to be the one that y'all are trying, that's associated with y'all's image.
Yeah. And I thought it was unfair for so many esteemed actors and other esteemed Grammy winners from the past, like 80s and 90s, early 2000s, feel offended by the performance. And I'm just like, were you all offended? Because I'm sure, I believe, if somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Madonna performed Material Girl when she won her Grammy. Like that was risque at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't understand, like, it's always like that when it comes to ethnic women, though.
And
it's just a different standard.
That's the thing.
It's always a different standard.
Yeah, to play into that. For instance, if I go out of town and I'm on the beach with my thong bathing suit, but Sarah's over here with her thong bathing suit, I'm the one that's getting looks like that's inappropriate. So it seems as if, you know what I'm saying, this is a family resort. That's too much for the kids out here. But when Sarah's got her little cheeks out, then it's okay. Yeah. So it could be like, hey, Megan had a whole lot of ass and Cardi had 3 times as much ass.
Yeah, and
so
they just a lot of gyrating.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, it's that shit that come with.
But do you remember right before all that came on? Remember we were watching the performance. I cannot remember the girl's name. She was a white girl with brown hair, and she had like a onesie on. Remember we were looking at her performance. I remember she was just as naked. She had a onesie on. It was glittered up, nude little leotard underneath. She was body rolling down all over the stage, and no one mentioned her performance at all. Mm-hmm. But as soon as Cardi and Megan start twerking and gyrating, crybaby and all across the stage, it has become a huge topic. It went all the way up to the White House. People in the White House were talking about it. Some political leader, I forgot her name, was talking about it and how disgraceful it is as a woman. Cardi B is a mom, and it just went too far. It was just unnecessary, and it's almost like a form of bullying.
Okay.
I feel like you're just bullying certain groups of women, and it seems to be ethnic women no matter what genre of work you're in. There's TV, radio, television, doesn't matter. Anything that we do that's a little bit sexy or risque, it's a problem, and I don't understand it. So those are the topics that I heard that were trending a lot this week. But our main topic today, you and I have been talking about it for a while, and it's a lot of mixed reviews. I've heard just from different friends and family members and associates. So the topic is, as a woman, as an ethnic woman or a woman of color, do you feel like men treat you differently or even court you differently or court you at all depending on your hairstyle? So I've always been pretty much natural until I probably moved to Georgia and I had like my first relaxer, but I've pretty much been natural my whole life. And I was thinking about this question and the different people I was dating at the time with different hairstyles. Because I went through so many different things. I've been all press and curl. I've been natural with just the puffs or 2 puffs or the cornrow, the goddess braids. I've been the tiny little afro, the TWA. I've done the big chop. I've done all braids. I tried sew-ins, never done really wigs. So I've done it all, and I'm trying to remember with each phase I was in, how did the guys I was dating at the time treat me? And I was really, really racking my brain. I don't really think it was a huge difference. Mm-hmm. I think more so than anything, they commented about different hairstyles after I was done with the hairstyle, but they never really were like, I prefer this or this type of hairstyle I like, or I don't like that. It was never like a definite I don't like. When I tried to do sew-ins for a little while, a particular person I was dating at the time waited till after I was done with the sew-in, was like, I really don't think sew-ins are your thing. It's not part of who you are, so I don't really like them on you. And I had tried like 4 different sew-ins at the time, and I was like, so he just let me wear these sew-ins
each time,
and then it's like he just dealt with it, I guess. And then like maybe when I was the most natural meaning like I never probably pressed my hair or blow dried it. It was just strictly either a wash and go or a twist out or a braid out. I was probably dating like woke type dudes, to be honest. I think I was. And, you know, they rock with it. Like, you know, they're all for the natural look anyway. You know, they embrace the, you know, turmeric in your hair and the berries and the oils.
What?
Like, you know, they embrace all that. You know, you doing a braid out. They embrace you walking around with plaits in your hair and your bonnets. Like, that's not a turn off for them. So I guess that's why I never had issues with the different hairstyles, because I probably wore my hairstyles according to where I was, and those guys fit into where I was at the time. But do you think like people treated you different, or you dated differently according to your hairstyle?
I'm not gonna say I was treated differently, but I will say as far as like looks from men or like attention from men, it's definitely, if my hair is in a natural state, it's got to be pressed like completely, like a bone straight, or maybe if I wore like pin curls or, you know, feather curls, something like that, my natural hair.
Okay.
If it's wet and curly, or if it's like, you know, in a ponytail, like with my natural curls, not so much. Now, if I'm wearing a weave style, braids, locks, absolutely. Men love the braid. I mean, a dude the other day just told me, like, yeah, it's something about you in them braids. I'm like, so me and my natural hair is not the same? Like, yeah, like, I even noticed, even if it's likes on Instagram.
Really?
The very first time I put a sew in, not the very first time, but like, I think last year at some point I had a red sew in.
Okay.
And that's the picture that's going to get all these likes. But if I just go on Instagram, my natural hair, like I just kind of, you know, got out the shower, let it air dry, maybe put some curl defining cream in it, kind of threw it up, whatever. It's not, it just don't hit the same as far as the male community. Now, women are all for it, especially the natural styles, because we are pushing the natural, embrace your natural curls, embrace your hair. And I actually have a decent curl pattern. I think some women may not embrace their natural styles because of their curl pattern.
That's true. The
And I think, and I struggled with that.
Yeah.
Because when I first was going or decided to go back natural, I never did the big chop. I wore sew-ins, and I would wear them for 2-3 months at a time, take them out, trim my ends, trim off a little bit of perm at a time until I grew my hair out completely natural. So people were like, I didn't even realize that you went natural because I never saw you chop your hair, and I didn't choose to do it like that because I never wanted to cut my hair. But in that process, you know, I wore sew-ins and things like that, and nobody knew the difference. But everybody, especially women, are pushing the go natural narrative, and they fully support it, you know, but men, I don't think so much are into like the natural hair in the curl state. Because
I know, like the wash and go state.
Yeah, because you deal with like the shrinkage. Like my hair could be down to here,
right?
But in shrinkage,
it might be right here,
up here at my ears, and it looks like I got this short little situation.
And I don't know if all men understand like shrinkage.
And I don't really care for this shrinkage type situation. I mean, like
you don't really. You want your hang time. Who don't want the hang time?
If my hair was naturally, if it was as long, curly before the shrinkage, like I would probably wear my natural hair all the time. To be completely honest, but to deal with the shrinkage, it's annoying.
It is.
And when I was growing my hair out, I had to play with my curl pattern a little bit because I hadn't seen my curl pattern since I was a child because I had permed hair. Yeah. So I was playing with my natural curl pattern to see what it was going to be. If it was going to be curls, waves, coils, if I was going to kind of have more of the fro-like style, you know, kind of more of a coarse style. Yeah. If my hair was more coarse, I probably would have continued to keep chemicals in my hair because I just wouldn't have liked how it looked on me. Okay. However, because I have more of a curly hair pattern, I was like, okay, I can do this. I was more accepting to it. So I can resonate with some women who may not care for their own natural hair.
It's rough, and you definitely have to play with it. And I didn't learn this till later either, that even with women that may have more coiled type curl patterns versus the loose and wavy, there are products, natural products that you can put in the hair that will train your hair to loosen up the curl pattern too. And there's other like African techniques like the threading, you know, when you wrap it around at night, thread it all the way down to the bottom so it stretches the hair. So when you wake up in the morning, the curl pattern is stretched. It's so many different things you can do for all type of curl patterns. But that's interesting. Like, I'm trying to think about likes on Instagram. I guess I don't post enough.
Where it come from?
Huh?
See, I think y'all have it backwards.
What?
So look, hair is a necessity, right? So men, because y'all was saying what the men, why men might treat you differently with hair. So, for instance, like Hollywood, right? When we see women on TV and they have natural hair, they always the woke women. They're always like y'all get displayed as like the woman that's like feminist type, I guess is that the correct term. Mm. Like when you see natural hair women or with the short froze or all that kind of stuff. Mm. Then when you're watching TV, internet, or whatever we watch as men, if a girl got colored hair and doing things like that, she's more towards the stripper or provocative scale of a woman being displayed or whatever, like in our head. So you can put your hair in a fro and go outside, and then, like you said, you're gonna attract woke dudes because that's what is presented to us as what women may look like. Mm-hmm. Y'all just talking about the Cardi B stuff and all that. You know what I'm saying? Nails, all that shit, everything that get displayed make men think like, oh, she might act this way, because it's kind of like your personality coming out. I'm just saying, like, maybe not all men, but if you see a girl with a short fro and she really like has on no makeup and you got on sweatpants and stuff, you could be like the world's biggest hoe, but a nigga ain't gonna pay you no attention to even think that you in that stage or the freakiest girl. He walking right past you probably and trying to get the girl that got her ass cheeks out and her hair out. Like that's red or blue or you're presenting yourself as such. So it's just it's the same. If I tap my face, most of the time people think that you're a gangster, like, or they think that you something like that. So hair displays all that. Because what we see on TV and what we get is what, as a man, you trying to gain some edge to get to that woman. So, you know what I'm saying, you got long braids and all that shit. Because if you have short braids, you still can look like little girlies. You got super long braids down to your ass. It's like being more presented is like me being sexy in this moment or whatever. It's just like what you decide to put on for the day. You know what I'm saying? Because even when you have braids, you can put your hair up and make yourself look like a little goddess and a queen. You can hang your hair down to your braids because that's how you feel today and have a long ponytail and do so. I think that like that's why you're gonna get treated different by a man approaching you with different hairstyles. It's because what you're giving out today.
But I feel like that's provoked or fed because of society.
That's
what you know what I mean? Like it's because of what men are watching on TV. And like
that's what I'm saying. You're asking why, but I believe that's why it is because that's what you're getting shown. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's been presented. When they normally on TV or normally on something and they show a feminist type woman, she's gonna have like natural hair and stuff. She ain't gonna have on a whole bunch of makeup. She's not gonna have. That don't mean that the woman that has that in her hair or has weave ain't a feminist and don't believe strongly about women's rights, but it ain't presented as such.
Yeah, in society, it's not. Yeah.
It ain't presented as such. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't presented as such.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at anything that got to do with sex or anything that got to do with different presentations of women, it's what we're going to see and how it's presented to us.
I just think it's funny because I don't know if it was some other friends. I can't remember who said it, but like it's just interesting how clothes will make people think so many different things about somebody. Mm-hmm. And like the biggest hoes are walking around, like you said, with sweatpants on and a baseball cap and it's showing not a piece of her body. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just so many different societal trends and norms that are just like fed to you all day, every day that warps your sense of judgment and clarity and everything. It's weird. And like, you know, I was the same Jada regardless of whatever kind of hairstyle I had. Mm-hmm. I was still funny. I was still moody. I would still snap on you. I would still make you laugh. Like I was the same whether I had a puff in my head or a weave or a silky press. It did not matter. And it's just weird. And I'm wondering, I even thought like to play devil's advocate to think, do I treat men differently based off of how they look like as far as hairstyles?
Y'all definitely do. Anything that got to do with presentation of a man, everybody do the same thing. Period, point blank. If a man got tats on his neck, if a man got tattoos on his neck and all that, and he had on the suit and you didn't know it, and then he takes his suit off and do that, you have a whole different image of what you thought he was at that particular moment. Maybe when you sit down and talk more, I'm not saying it matters, but books by covers, they might as well stop making up that lie. Everybody read a book by its cover because why the fuck are you looking at it in the first place? It has to interest you. Something has to catch you. Like, so therefore, it's the same thing with men. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing being nervous when people see somebody and they look like they're gangster. They might not, they might just be a tattoo artist. They might just be something else. Yeah. But it's the presentation of yourself at the moment that society, quote unquote, cover. A bald black man on the beard is wanted on every poster in the world. But all bald black men with beards ain't gangsters. And all of them ain't whatever.
I still feel like women are more accepting. I don't know why I feel like that.
What?
I feel like women, because I beg to differ because I feel like I see so many more maybe good-looking women with maybe not so polished and good-looking men, whereas I don't see the vice versa. You typically don't see a really well-kept, good-looking, polished man and like a scraggly girl. You just don't see that. I think women are more accepting, and I think maybe because we think we can fix and change men, I don't know. We feel like we can fix his clothes and polish him up and make him nice and pretty the way we want to. I don't know. That's the only thought process I could come up with outside of us just being nurturers. So we always feel like we can help. But do you like?
I mean, for men, they don't have as broad of a spectrum as far as hairstyles. Mm-hmm. So like women, you got 1,000,001 hairstyles that you can do, but for guys, and not to say that these are the only styles, but men might go bald, they might have a fade, they might have dread, they might have braids.
Mm-hmm.
But does hair count in y'all presentation of like sexy or presenting yourself? Like what you like hair counts and all that?
I think
like sometimes when you want to feel if you go into an interview, you wearing your hair, like if you got them braids and you wearing them down to your ass, you gonna put them up.
Probably in a bun.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, because the bun is giving more sophisticated look and a more presentation of I'm ready to
you take more
serious. Or I would pull
it
in a ponytail, just a low ponytail.
Yeah, because you take it more seriously if your hair is out, off your face.
That's what I'm saying.
So
even the small little idiosyncrasy things that y'all do, when you think you're gonna get sexy, I'm pretty sure you do your hair in a certain way that you do that. It's different. Like maybe you don't. Maybe you'll come out with 2 cornrows and be like, hey baby, like.
Well, that's whatever. The thing. But that's what we're saying. Like that's what she was saying. Men sometimes will treat you different. There are women that are strictly natural. They never press their hair ever. They never blow dry their hair ever. And they might feel sexy if they just take the afro and put like the sides up with a little bow or a little pin or barrette, and the rest is out. That's sexy to them. But another dude outside who watch videos all day, or who be at the strip club or the club, he's not gonna look at her and be like, "Ooh, she's a sexy chocolate queen." Right. He gonna be like, "Oh, that's the little girl with the afro." But he gonna look at the girl with the lace front and be like, "Ooh, she's sexy." All the while, he don't realize when you take the lace front out, it's cornrows underneath. Like he doesn't understand. Like there's sexy it's a wide range,
but
and
sexy is what
men
it is to somebody else.
And we're saying sometimes men tend to treat differently based on what they consider might be sexy. And sometimes the natural looks they just don't get the same type of attention as the lace fronts, the wigs, the press, the blowouts.
Okay.
Even the braids. Even the braids.
It's just a presentation. Like you said with braids, you can let them down and you can put them up. Like you can do different things. I think y'all decide when y'all walk out the house, when y'all do y'all hair and stuff, how I feel for the day. Every day you said you woke up today and you was melancholy because of the weather and things like that. Mm-hmm. So sexy and all that might not be on your mind. But if you're getting ready to go on a date and get ready, I'm just saying, like, it's just your presentation of yourself at the moment. Hair is what we see first, and then you move on to maybe next clothes. If a girl is real natural and she got this, if she's feeling sexy and trying to present herself in a way of wanting attention, then we're gonna look at other things. Amber Rose got away with having no hair, but she was naked. We skipped all that shit. We ain't care nothing about no hair no more. No, she got ass and titties and she got a pretty face. We don't care. All that shit is because she presented sexy. If she was wearing pantsuits like she was Michelle Obama or somebody else, would have been like, oh, that's one of them type women or something. Might even be like, oh, maybe she's gay or something. You just think other things because that's the presentation at the time. That's the presentation at the time. You know what I'm saying? If you wear cornrows and dress like Cleon set it off, we not gonna think that we can have a chance to get with you.
Okay. All right. Cleo from Set It Off. Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well, we appreciate your commentary and your input. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I have to change. I like to change up my hairstyle because number one, as a woman that is natural.
Yes. That's very important.
And it's Atlanta and it's hot and it's humid and I go to the gym 5-6 days out of the week. I've got to do something with this head. So braids are something I can put them in and I'll be in these braids for a month or 2 months. I don't have to worry about. I can wake up, roll out the bed, take off my bonnet, boom, that's it. And this is the hairstyle for the month.
Yep.
So it's really, for me, a convenience factor. Because if I do press out my natural hair straight, I might be like, I'm skipping the gym today and tomorrow and the day after that because I just pressed out my hair and I try to mess it up.
And it's protecting your hair.
It is. It's a protective style as well.
That's the benefit of braids. That's definitely the benefit of braids, locks, all those things. Like it really protects your hair from the heat because women like my hair is so thick. The amount of heat that has to go in it to straighten it out from the natural state is really, really hot and high. Then on top of that, since I want it to be straight, then I'm doing like a press. So just all that heat all the time, that would just be way too much. I would end up with no hair.
Damaging your hair.
Yeah. And then it also ruins your curl pattern when you do want to finally go back to natural. So protective styles are always a plus for me. I have an addiction with color. I love to color my hair. It sometimes works in my favor. Sometimes it does not. But that's another reason why I feel like staying natural is a benefit. If you are a girl like me that loves color, staying natural is an easier way for you to play around and mix around. And
I've had no problems coloring my natural hair because my actual hair itself is healthy. And then I've had stylists who are like, hey, your hair, I never really had this problem, but I've heard stylists say like your hair is not in a place to be colored because people's hair is just so damaged.
It's so damaged.
That any bleach or any color is just going to further damage it. So they're like, no, we're not going to fool with it. But color, I've been able to successfully color my hair sometimes once every 6 months.
Yeah.
Just because my hair is actually healthy. Yeah.
That is so true. That's a definite benefit. And then I just like the versatility of having natural hair because, like you said, you especially when you're like first meeting somebody, like you might roll up on them with a fresh press for the next 2 weeks, then boom, you got the natural hair, and then boom, a month later you got braids. So you're always switching it up, which gives them a variety of a woman. So you could be like 3 different women in one, and so that's the benefit of it versus, not saying that girls with relaxers can't do the same, but I just feel like. I don't know. It's something about natural hair. I feel like colors take better. I feel like braids hold in better when your hair is natural. So I just think it's more beneficial. And it's just healthier for your scalp. Also, you can wash it more and you're not worried about, it's time for me to get a touch up. I don't want my edges to show. You don't have to worry about none of that. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with none of that anymore.
Edges That's the best thing I did was go back natural. Yeah. Really one of the best things I ever did.
It is the best. And it promotes really good skin too. Like it really helps you stay on top of your skin. And I didn't realize that until later that, when your hair is dirty, it really does affect your skin. And you may not even realize your hair is dirty. But now, since I pay close attention, sometimes my skin will let me know that, it's time for you to wash your hair before I even realize it because I might get a little bit more blemishes than usual or anything like that. But so, I think that's interesting. I mean, we have a really good male perspective on hair. Some things I really didn't. I kind of knew. I knew that society did really I don't want to say jade men's thought of how women should look or what's sexy versus what's not. But I definitely know it influenced it, and I just kind of. I don't know. I just feel like for ethnic women, it's a little bit more than other women. I feel like we're judged way more on our hair than other.
Other ethnicities can't do nothing to their hair.
Other ethnicities, they really won't do much with their hair.
What can they do?
Yeah, they don't do anything.
Put some color in it.
They color and cut it.
Y'all have the only hair that can grow the opposite of gravity. No, dead serious. Y'all think I'm playing? Really think about it. Chinese people here, gravity pulls it down. We are the only people that can grow afros, high top fades. Our hair can defy gravity. The only race. The only race. Of course they gonna mess with y'all. You can't beat them. So they can't do what y'all do, so we gotta talk. Cheat on.
I mean, possibly. I mean, I never thought about that.
So, okay, just to play devil's advocate, we had the conversation about how because I feel like black women are unicorns. And I don't just say that just because I'm black. I say that because, like you said, there's just so much that we can do with hair, with whatever. Like, we do people that can do pink, green, blue, we make it look good. However, men, I feel like, don't gravitate towards a lot of black women. I feel like men gravitate a lot of times towards women of other ethnicities.
Because
so why
TV
right that?
Why?
Because you make it an unequal playing field. Because everything that we see and we grow up on and everything, just for instance, y'all take off, something happens, whatever. They gonna want to change the looks. They're gonna want to do certain things to increase the audience. Because then once it gets there, it's all about views and different things. So what we see on TV, like I said, it's just what comes out. You know what I'm saying? It's some bald-headed, freaky girls out there but TV don't really display them. Like, it's whatever is displayed. So then, if they can't grow their hair the way y'all do it, why would we continuously put somebody on there on TV or present them as such when we can't do what they do? So they only put the people on there that's doing it the way that they want it done. So we gravitate towards. That's what we see. It's just what you see.
But her question was, why do men?
It's just what you see. It's what you brought up on the see. Magazines, books, like whatever. Everything's still just.
So does that negate the narrative, like when black men are raised by black women and you grew up in a house with your black mom, but you go against the complete opposite? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, we just now coming into times where those things are changing. Black women had to fit the roles too back in the day. You ain't getting jobs with dreads. This just recently started. Don't act like we were just now getting. All this shit just started. As a black man, I wouldn't go into a job interview with my hair like Kodak Black. Even though I could have had a degree. Right. I could be the smartest man in the room. I could do all that. As soon as I walk in the room, because I don't want to cut my hair, they're going to be like, who's the pickaninny or whatever. So let's go ahead and get them out of here. Move on to the next. Black women weren't going to work with puffs. You had to fit into the mold to get into what was going on in society. So even as a child, you see your mother wind up straightening her hair because she got to work. You can play that game if you want to and try to have dreads and do all that. Back then, you was going to be behind the 8 ball. Now things are starting. Now it's going to change. Things are starting to be a little more different. That's why I said now niggas really don't be tripping on braids. Like, because now society is different. You can present yourself as such in different ways. Same way tattoos when allowed at work. But as soon as other people start getting tattoos and coming to work that are not thugs and gangsters and stuff, it started being accepted. So that's all it is. And I think that now y'all gonna take off because y'all can do all this stuff now and go to work. And guess what? All y'all work from home now. Y'all can wear y'all hair how y'all want to.
Damn right.
At this point, yeah, that's what it is.
Ain't no dress code, so it's definitely gonna be more fun. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll never get the answer to why men do that. I don't know why they. I mean, you grew up in a whole house with your mama, your big mama, your auntie, your sisters, your cousins. They all look like us. And then, you know, when things happen in your life and you elevate and become grander and better, which is a wonderful thing, they tend to look away from people that look like your auntie, your grandma, your sister, your cousin, your niece. You want to look like people that are exotic or...
If y'all stop saying that word, we'll run out of it.
I don't know which way you want me to describe it. They don't look black. So they look other than black, I'll say that. I don't know what happens. Like, I don't know.
Right,
you know,
where's the switch?
I don't know
like
where the switch occurs. Yeah, I don't know. Especially because what's weird to me is those type of men always big up their moms. They're always like, I came from a strong black woman. Okay, well.
But they're not going to marry a strong black woman. They're going to marry
I'm confused.
Dominican or Puerto Rican or whatever.
Everybody don't want a woman like their mama. That's a misconception. All these shits are just sayings. Don't nobody want nobody like their mama. Those are misconceptions. Those are misconceptions. Y'all just hear that and think that's what it is. Nobody wants somebody like their mama. Like,
do you mean that acts like their mom or that looks like?
We're talking about looks right
like,
now.
I don't even
looks
think
like brown skin,
like their mama.
Not like per se like twin, but we're talking about like similarities. Like if your
just
mom is
from
tall,
a black community,
right? Like if your mom is tall and you know she's brown skin and she got hair, would you want a woman that's tall and brown skin with hair? She don't have to look like your mom, but might have the same characteristics. These dudes be having like tall brown skin mamas and go get Becky.
different. Different is fun, and what you can't have is fun. You done
Okay.
had black girls because you
Your whole
grew up
life.
where your mama was at.
Okay.
So I done had black women, black women, black women, black women. When you get a chance and you got your own shit, you can go out and buy you some or do whatever the fuck you want. Now you're around different races. The bigger you get, the more people that you're around and the more shit that you can do. If you grew up in Gardena, your little first crush probably was like a little Mexican boy or something. Because there were Mexicans in your area for you to have a crush on. If there ain't no white girls to have a crush on, when you finally get out and about and there's a whole bunch of white girls everywhere that you ain't seen or played with before or did nothing, because now I have the opportunity to do that. Come at everybody don't do it. Brian don't do it. There's a whole bunch of people that don't do it. It's just that it's glorified at the ones who do it because they like it when it's being done. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not that you like now all of a sudden you just have access to more. You just have access to more. When you have access to more, then you might have thought you only like Fords, but now you can afford to buy a Ferrari. You ready to buy a Ferrari because you never would have drove a Ferrari. So if you didn't have access to white women, then when you finally get a chance to get access to them, then that's what it is.
You feel like all men feel like that?
No, I just feel like all men. I feel like everybody like new. I feel like everybody in the world, like, it's nothing like getting something new or having something new. I feel like everybody like new. I feel like if you just never had opportunities, just like when young ladies go off to college, you know what I'm saying? You was talking to these type dudes because these were the dudes at your school. Now you meet dudes from other states. Just accents sometimes turn people on just because they never heard other people talking in a certain manner. It's just something new. It's just something new. That's why hairstyles are great. Like you said, you can meet 7 different chicks.
Yeah.
Put a wig on today, you know what I'm saying? And men hard to entertain, so you need to be 7 different chicks anyway.
Jesus Christ. Yes. Yes, they are. Jesus Christ. But anyway, thank you so much again for your commentary, Steve in the back.
I love talking to you.
Okay. That was good. I mean, I knew we were gonna, dive deep into it. It's just so many. I feel like it's a lot of factors involved with it, to be honest. I mean, we could go on and on and on for hours about it. But I think we touched on the gist of it, and I don't know. I just want all the women that's watching just to embrace your hair and embrace whatever style that makes you feel confident, makes you feel sexy, makes you feel good. I try all different types of styles. You'll see her with a million styles. You'll see
I
me with a
just
million
got
styles.
like that. Like, I used to only wear my natural hair up until college.
Yeah.
I got my first sew-in in college.
Yeah.
And then I was wearing sew-ins for a second, and I stopped wearing them because I had gotten my natural hair where I wanted to, and I started coloring my hair.
Yeah.
And then just recently, I started experimenting with all these different hairstyles, like literally like within the last couple of years.
You got to play. You got to play around to find out what really works for you, what makes you feel the most confident. I know long hair makes me feel the most sexiest, which is why when I get braids, I do long braids.
Yeah,
like long hair just makes me feel sexy. Short hair doesn't necessarily do that, but every woman is different. So everybody embrace whatever you want, but we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. I'm at jaded_kiss01.
I'm at The Pretty Hustler, DA Pretty Hustler.
Okay, see you guys next week. Bye.